Welcome to Sweetcast. Looks like we're live today. We've got the talented Publishin' Pete, right? I want to call you Publishin' Peter Samedi because that's how I think picture your full name. But Publishin' Pete is here. Hello, how's it going?
Hey, Clint, how's it going? I'm doing good.
That's good. Yeah, I'm doing well too. It's Thursday night, and I can't believe it's already the 15th. We're halfway through August.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
You got some deadlines coming up at the end of the month or something.
Deadlines every day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what day it is. Yeah, lots of actually. I don't know. Crowdfunding kind of runs in seasons, and this is really the first time I've been so closely following comics, like crowdfunding. Normally, it's like, oh, there's a comic crowdfunder. I hear about it, and it's like one, and I'll look at it, But this year, I've been like looking at everything, and it's insane how many crowdfunders are out there. So this is an important one because a lot of them are expensive, and this one is really not expensive. So I think it's nice.
Yeah, this one's nice, affordable, and family friendly. Last year's Alterna was great. It was really great. Close to 500 backers and close to 17,000 raised. I'm not expecting us to come necessarily close to that, and the biggest reason I say that is because we had that expansion campaign a couple months ago, which is basically kind of like if you're getting ready for Alternaween, they got in on that early, so that raised close to 9,000. So I'm not necessarily expecting us to come close to the 17, and I don't really know if we have enough perks there to do that because they're limited more this year, but I think we could easily hit 8 or 9 by the time this is over. But if we hit just the 5, that's great. Just the fact that we can reach the goal and get this stuff out there, the trick or treats as comic books for the kids, it's great because last year it was something like 15,000 comics, and hundreds upon hundreds of kids got comics for Halloween, and many of which it was their first comic ever, which is crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All I could think is my first comic and how much it's meant to me, and I still have it. The thing's in tatters, but I still have it. It means a lot. So the fact that one of our books could potentially mean that much to a kid, and who knows, maybe that kid goes on to create comics, maybe some of the most important comics that have ever been made. You never know.
This is molding the minds of the next Stan Lee, Stan Lees, so to speak.
Yeah, provide that inspiration for a whole generation of kids the same way that comics provided that inspiration for us.
What was your first comic?
It was a Spectacular Spider-Man. I always want to say the issue number, but I always think I'm going to be wrong. But it's definitely the one with Captain America and Tarantula, and Spidey's in the back. He's getting hit, and he's kind of like going back, and it's that issue. I've got it around here somewhere. I think is it within arm's reach? It may be. Yeah, it is. Here we go.
Nice.
Yeah, this one. So you can see it's got some of my earliest coloring work on there. It's got the Spidey eyes are blue. Where is that? Right there. Captain America face and Tarantula face are blue. My mom puts my name on there because I might lose the comic.
Yeah. You don't want one of your friends accidentally taking it home.
It's I'm like, what's up with the Spider-Man? Why isn't he colored? So 5-year-old Pete's like, hey, I gotta color that in. And for some reason, Spidey's got blue eyes. That just works. Everyone's got blue faces and blue eyes.
Yeah. Nice. That kind of encapsulates what comics, I know where they've come from. You know what I mean? Like they were always meant to just be loved. And that's why a lot of those older comics are worth so much money, is because it's so hard to find some that haven't been thoroughly destroyed by children, teenagers, adults alike. That's really cool. Did you get it trick-or-treating? That would be awesome. That would pull it all together. But
no, I actually I got it from my mom. Came home with it one day. She worked near a I want to say it was like an Odd Job or an Odd Lot, or I don't even know the name of the store, but it was a convenience store kind of place, and they had a spinner rack. And she knew I liked Spider-Man because of the TV show at the time, and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And so she picked up a Spider-Man comic for me, and and that was it. The rest is history. I got a whole bunch of other ones too, even Uncanny X-Men with Silvestri and a Hulk with McFarlane art. It was a good time to be a young comic reader, I tell you.
Yeah. Nice. Well, that's the thing is, so I've noticed with kids, I've made 2 videos about this recently, getting younger kids, specifically boys, into comics. And something that's interesting is that kids are actually really open to different kinds of characters and different kinds of IP. Like a lot of new sorts of stories, kids are willing to accept it because they don't have that already established nostalgia or anything like that. There's no history. None of it matters to them.
Yep.
And so giving out comics, this is actually a really great way to get kids into comics, giving them out at Halloween.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Mr. Crypt, Mighty Mascots, Actual Roger, Batman, Spider-Man, whatever. That's all the same thing to a kid, you know. As long as it looks interesting, as long as it looks fun, they're going to be into it. So it's all about, especially that's what makes when you start realizing if we were to get some real fun and exciting comics out there and make them truly all ages, not just for kids. I hate the for kids stuff, because when you're a kid, you don't want to read the kiddie stuff. I was reading like Fright Night too, like a year after this Spectacular Spider-Man book, because you want to read something that doesn't make you feel like a little kid. And even this isn't an all ages comic nowadays, but this was an all ages comic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's right. It kind of shifts over time.
Yeah.
And it's not that I think of all ages, it's just like what it says. It's just not excluding. And it makes sense. You know, there's got to be some titles out there that are more adult. And so you're going to draw a line. Like you're usually excluding the children. But if you've got all ages, it's including everybody. And I got to say, I backed your last Alterna expansion. I backed that. We got a whole bunch of all ages books, and my kids, my son and my daughter read them. They particularly liked Mr. Crypt, so that was a winner. Good job with that one. But they also read a few others too. But there's still more that I need to get. So I think Mighty Mascots is one. Is that all ages? Mighty
Yes,
Mascots?
it is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's one we need to get to. But yeah, really fun. It was so, I don't know, it just as a grown comic dork, I love seeing my son read comics, my daughter read comics. It just makes me like, yeah.
Yeah, right. You're like, mission accomplished. I'm a good dad.
Good dad, yeah. Yeah, there's something awesome about it. Okay, so let's look through your campaign a little bit here. I'm all sorts of full of stupid questions here, but I wonder about this. For like so Alterna Comics, this looks like a cool like 80s theme.
Yeah.
And you've been playing with your logo a lot in a lot of these. Do you hire a graphic designer, or is this all you?
No, this is all me. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I love that, because you're a really good artist. I wonder about stuff like that. Like, would you do that yourself? Would you? I don't know.
I do. I do all the Alterna website stuff. I do all the layouts for the covers. Like I get the cover art in, and then I do the layouts like with the logo and the corner boxes and the taglines and stuff like that. I think all except for like Midnight Mystery. Bernie's great about that. He'll have a nice tagline on there and have that on there too, with the font and everything and the placement. But for 95% of them, I do all that for it. And then stuff like this with the logo and the merchandise and everything else. That's me just kind of thinking, that look fun. Let's give it a try.
Yeah, this totally reminds me of, I don't know, it's almost like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what it brings back to mind. It reminds me of being in, watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies as a kid. I loved those. So I know that.
And it's got the CMYK in there in case you guys are also wondering about those colors. And those are the 4 colors that make up every single comic book. So it's got a little bit of dorky comic bookness to it too.
You're a print nerd.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I was like, where's the 4th color? The hat is black.
The hat is black.
It achieved it. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's run through all these, and then I want to talk a little bit about a few other things. So while people are coming in, guys, this is the place to be tonight, just so you know. So
Yes, it is.
do share it out also on social media. I know like a lot of people will think, oh, sharing it, who cares? It actually does really help bring the numbers in. And Alterna Comics, Peter Smetty, these, this is what we want to be helping out. So for sure, share it out. That absolutely helps. So we got the beanie. There's so many stuff now I want to get. I just bought a t-shirt. It's not one of these t-shirts, one of the new ones. It's one of your existing ones. But I like it. It's a lot better than all the free t-shirts I get. I'd much rather have comic shirts. So
We've got new t-shirt designs too for this one.
Yeah. I want to look at those. So beanie hat at the top. We've got Alterna calendars.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea too.
Oh, what really stinks too is I got done with the sample to show everybody what the interior is going to look like, and it's on the other computer. So
okay. So does the interior have what kind of art do you have? Just general, all mixed? Is it stuff from?
Yeah. So what it's going to be is let me get a comic. Oh, I got a comic. I'm always like, where's comics? I don't have comics around. Yes, I got a whole thing of comics behind me. So that you see right there, that 13-month calendar thing where it says the 2020, that's basically going to be the calendar. It's going to be a wraparound cover. So we'll take this Mr. Crypt and we'll pretend that it is, with our power of imagination, that this is the Alterna Comics calendar, and the wraparound cover would be here. And then you open it up, and on this side, the left-hand side, will be a cover image, and on this side will be the month. So the display kind of sample that I would have Mighty Mascots here with a Mighty Mascots month of October, and it would have the calendar of October 2019 and a place at the top where you can just write notes. I know writing inside of an exclusive thing, oh my God. But you could if you want. Because these will also be given out in the trick-or-treat packages too. So little kids might actually want to do this and go, hey, this is my calendar for school or something. I can write stuff and, jot in the dates, what I've got to do, or I've got homework or whatever. And then it'll have pages, some sample pages of the books at the bottom as thumbnails, just to kind of see the art and stuff like that, along with what the book is about, who creates it, and things like that. So it's just a purely 100% fun thing, and every single page will be different. It'll be set up like that. And it'll be a 13-month calendar, so it'll be October to October.
Cool. You get that extra. Oh wow, I made my head big. There we go. That's how you want it. That's nice. Especially like I'm thinking of, I don't know if anybody noticed this. Same wall, same room, but I've changed my computer situation. So now I have a little office nook. I need to put prints and things behind me. I just have one, and that's not that interesting. So yeah, these are all great candidates.
I was wondering where the Ninja Turtles art went.
Yeah, I thought about moving it so it's still in, but I don't know. It makes sense where it is, I guess, but I don't know. I'm still thinking.
You need like a big downcast banner behind you or something,
Well, eventually, it's like I'm going to go to conventions, right? And that's so what do they call those things? Are they called Nimlocks or? I think.
Hey! I don't come on your show to get insulted here, Clint.
Try to remember what they're called. You know what I'm talking about? Those big old rollout vinyl signs or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like a pop-up banner sort of thing. I don't know the technical term.
Yeah, we had those for my work for a little while, and I can't. I remember they had a goofy name, something. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that would be great stuff. I was also thinking like a hat would be nice to get all this stuff.
Yeah, get eventually. Like even like the swirly logo as a hat.
Yeah, people are always like, you should put it on your microphone. I could do the peppermint candy.
Right, you can just have a lot of peppermint candies glued to the microphone.
It's they'll just start bedazzled with peppermint.
Yeah, it'll smell nice.
Yeah, it would probably get old, I would imagine, but well, here we go. Here's let's see. I'm going to show. Still working on Streamlabs. So far, so good. Work in progress says Sweetcast. You need a giant lollipop for live streams from cons. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just a giant lollipop.
Yeah, just a giant lollipop.
Yeah. It would make sense. All right, this is a good one. Trick or treat bundle. And I thought at first I was like, "What's the bag for?" Well, duh, it's for trick or treating. So
Yes,
this
yes.
is yeah. What do you get here? This is like the basic get your kid ready to go trick or treating bag, right?
Yeah, it really is. These are our current bags, the Alterna Comics for Everyone bags. But last year, everyone was really requesting, "Hey, you should have a specialized Alterna Ween bag." And of course, last year it was a campaign that I wanted to get up and running around this time too, August. But craziness happened, and it got pushed back into September, and there was no time to do something like that. So I was like, next year, next year. So now we've got a nice big orange Alterna Ween bag for the kids for trick or treating, and it comes with silly putty. And last year, if you guys remember, I had a 5-pound brick of silly putty, and I tore that with my bare hands. And no way am I doing that this year. um, that was grueling. So this year, I'm like, screw it. Everybody gets a silly putty egg. So you guys are going to actually get, when you order that trick or treat bundle, you get that. And it's in a bunch of the other bundles too. And then it comes with the calendar. It comes with a random kid-friendly comic, and it comes with the. I don't have this one in arm's length, so it comes with the I support my local comic shop sticker and the pins, the Alterna Ween pin and the new Alterna pin, and it's $10. And shipping for U.S. backers is free.
Wow, that is a really good deal. I'm not sure how you're making money off of that. I mean, I have no idea, but that is an extremely good deal. And
Yes.
I assume that the silly putty is that like the newsprint thing. You stick it on the newsprint.
Yeah. You press it down, and then it out pops up a fun little image. Kids really seemed to like that last year when they were working with it, but everyone wanted kind of a bigger piece too, and this time they're gonna be able to get that.
Nice. You get the full egg.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now here's the classic Alterna hat. This is kind of what I'm like, I want one of these. I'm debating though, like a hat or a beanie. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward a hat, I think. But yeah, this is classic. You're sporting it right now, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, this is the G1 hat too, where it was screen printed on. This hat, the one that's available here, is the G2, and that is embroidered. It's really, really nice. I do have that in arm's length here. Right. So this is, you can kind of see it. It's got like a nice little kind of finish to it, where this one's kind of, it's the original, but this one is definitely the $6 million man of the Alterna hat.
Oh yeah. Nice. Well, that's a good bonus. Then you're getting into the t-shirts, and these are new t-shirts, right? I don't remember, maybe this one. I don't know. Team Comics, has that been around before?
The pin.
We have the pin, been, yeah,
but not a t-shirt. No, this is the first time that it's ever been on a shirt. And this is literally Team Comics. For those that don't know, if you love comics, you're part of Team Comics. That's all it is to it.
All inclusive. Yep. And you can get a t-shirt to show it off too. So everyone, there's no question. Nice. And then here we're getting into, I know this is the CMYK, right? Alterna Comics.
Yeah. So we got the 4 color stripe there across the comics part of that. And that's the first ever black shirt that Alterna's had. It's usually gray. I think we had one in red, and years ago we had one in blue. But people were requesting for so many years, when are we going to get an Alterna shirt on black? And I said, okay, let's maybe put that in the next crowdfunder. So here we go.
Nice. There it is, finally in black. And then this is getting into basically the trick or treat goodies. So from my understanding, this is so you can buy comics in bulk so that you can hand them out for Halloween, correct? Or yes, I guess you can just have them too. You don't you can hoard them if you want, but that's the idea, is you can give them out. And that's nice. I remember one time as a kid, I got a comic in my bag, and I remember that was a highlight. You know how? Because I can remember it. All the other candy, it kind of just all blurs together. But yeah, getting a comic is great.
And that's the thing too, right? Is what better thing to go with all the mountains of candy that a kid has than to sit there with all that candy at Halloween afterwards and be reading a comic to it. It's just great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then you're also the cool house. You're remembered as the cool house. This is, I think, better than king size candy bars because it lasts.
We
And
had people last year, they were doing this with them, right? So they would take a comic, they'd roll it up because you could roll up the Alterna ones, and they'd stick a king size candy bar in there,
oh
and they'd
no.
put a little bow around it,
Yeah,
and they were probably the coolest house on the whole block.
yeah. Man, I'm taking notes here. This is
King size candy bar with a comic, man, oh man, you never skip that house.
yeah. That is memorable. So all ages is $25. Here's the other thing too, is part of the reason I think that you're not seeing comics getting handed out for Halloween is because they're too expensive. So it wouldn't make a lot of sense to be I've got, I don't know, here's like a random comic here, $4.99. Did I pay that much for that? $4.99 for a comic. This is Marvel. I haven't even read this, been sitting around. You can't hand those out unless you got a lot of money. But this is a great opportunity to get a lot. And this is 25 if you have not a lot of kids maybe coming to your house. This is great. $25, you'd spend that on candy anyway. Or, you know, supplement it with candy. Let's see. Next one, mixed bundle. So these are just different. Great for kids. Oh, yeah. All ages, young adult, mature readers. Same number of comics, but you get a mix there. And then 50. So this is getting up. This is where it makes a little bit more sense. Well, I assume.
Yeah, the more you get, the more you save per unit. Yeah.
Yeah. So 50 comics for $35. Let's see. $35, 50 comics. Okay, same thing, just different age groups. Two t-shirt bundle, 100. This is kind of where I'm getting interested.
Yeah, the retailer bundles there, it's a bit higher of a discount for them.
And this is for official retailers.
Yep.
Don't get too excited, people. Come on. Unless you're a retailer, then be very excited. Okay, 100 retail. These are all.
And then now it turns into the average person can support this and get 100 for $70. We had a bunch deal of those the 200 bundles last year. I put those on there by request too because people were asking for 200, and I said okay. And sure enough, even this year, 2 out of 10 already claimed on the all ages. People got a lot of trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, depending on the neighborhood you live in, you might. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure how many we get. We probably get 100 bundle, I would guess. And we actually get some older kids too. So I'm actually like, maybe the mixed bundle might be good. I could also, skim some off the top.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing too with these, right? Because you're going to get doubles in them too.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have any or you want like a reader copy, let's say you want to keep your actual other copies or whatever pristine or anything like that, you can just kind of take whatever you want as well and go, okay, well, we only get like maybe 40 trick-or-treaters here. I'm going to get the 100 bundle and I'm going to keep a bunch of these. Or even, you can donate them to a library, a children's hospital, the troops, a school. There's all kinds of things you can do with the comics. It's not just specifically as trick-or-treats. We had a bunch of people too last year say, hey, can you, we had a bunch of international backers say, if I ask you to donate these to a local children's hospital, will you do that? And of course, absolutely. So if someone recommends that we do that with the bundle that they purchase and they request that, yeah, we'll absolutely do that. We donated, I think close to 300 comics were donated to Shriners in Boston. And then we donated a box of 100 to the troops last year as well.
Nice. Yeah, really, really fun campaign. And then you're no stranger to crowdfunding and fulfillment and shipping. And so, yeah, this is something like you're going to get in time for Halloween.
Yeah, I fulfill like a small crowdfunder worth of orders every week.
Yeah. This is just another Tuesday right here.
Yeah, it really is.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I want to keep an eye on this for sure. Maybe we'll. No, that's not. I'm figuring out the best layout here. I still want to look at this. Maybe we'll just do this. We'll pop it back and look at that campaign for sure. The link is in the description. I'm going to post it again too in the chat just so everyone has it and there's no, I was going to say excuses, but no one would do that. There's no reason not to check it out for sure. I'm going to post that in the chat. Do check it out. Alterna Comics, you guys have got a lot of stuff going on in general, and you're one of the very few publishing companies that I really get excited about because you're very forward thinking. What's I don't know, what's your plan for this like year that you can share up as far as just publishing or, you know, fun stuff to look forward to?
Survive.
That's a good one.
In the current market, it's a feat all unto itself. We're getting out a lot of great books for next year. We've got the Alterna Giants this year launching, which is a lot of fun. That's going to come out with a debut of Mighty Mascots will be out in November. It's a $4.99 80 pager. 80 that's a lot of pages. It's a lot of bang for your buck. And the biggest reason that we put that out there too was because when I was trying to get a lot of these comics into stores, probably the number one criticism from stores was, the comics look good, but the $1.50 is kind of stepping on the toes a bit of other books, and we don't necessarily want customers to feel like if they purchase other books, they're kind of getting ripped off. So it's sort of like you're making the other guys look bad with the $1.50. If you could put out something of a similar price, we would consider more stocking it. And I didn't want to do. Some people said, "Oh, do a premium version. Do one on like really nice slick paper or whatever, and then put that for $4.99 or $3.99." No, I don't want to do that. So I want to make sure that not only are the comics, we're given a good value, because to me, if it's just about the paper, right? You're literally going to pay an extra $2 or $3 because the paper is better. And better is so subjective, because I think the newsprint looks better, but that's me.
Yeah.
The $4.99 though, I don't mind getting to that price point, just as long as we could supply value for that. And to me, the 80 pager, the no frills graphic novel, which is essentially what that is a great way to do that. And I'm really looking forward to that. I really, really am.
Well, you're getting basically an entire mini series for the price of a single comic. Like a single Marvel or DC comic. That's pretty great. People are asking. I gotta look at the chat here a little bit. People are asking about Feast and Famine. Several people are, so maybe let's check that out too. This is one I was really, really excited to back. Let's see.
Yeah, Feast or Famine, I think, just hit like a $7,000 stretch goal. I know it's in demand right now.
Nice. Yeah, I was looking through this, and I had Dave on the stream, and we talked about it and did a little bit of promoting with him. Really, really great guy. I really enjoyed talking to him. And when I looked through it initially before we promoted it, this print here, or this variant cover that's like old school with the fantasy on the side, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yep, I want that, because I'd love to do a cover like this sometime for a book. So yeah, I got one of these print ones, and people were saying that the chat, Feast and Famine, the t-shirt, Feast or Famine, excuse me, the t-shirt looks great. It's true, it does. Yeah, lots of good stuff here. So it's in demand, and I think this is the one I got, retro cover print. Yeah, really, really cool stuff, all coming out from Alterna.
Yeah, I saw Roberts in the chat ask, he said, a mild criticism, I think more art on your t-shirts would be awesomeness. That's not a criticism. I wish we could have more art on the t-shirts too. What it is that Alterna is creator owned. So because of that, it becomes dicey, because I don't necessarily want to get involved in doing merchandising for everyone's various projects. But in the case of, let's say, Feast or Famine, if Dave was to want to send one or two of every size that he has, I can sell that on the Alterna Access site. And then we can just agree upon, okay, Pete, take like, $2 or whatever it costs extra in shipping. And then just, he'll get the rest. So that's an option. But as far as us going out there and actually reproducing merchandise based on the characters and things like that, that's something I don't want to get involved in.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep that to the discretion and the vision of the creators.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. If you had some kind of mascot or something, for Alterna, it'd just be a little strange because there's no book that it'd be associated with. But
Yeah, some people have wanted to make this guy here, who goes by the name of the appointed name in the chat one day of
oh yeah,
Timey Tim. They've wanted to make him the Alterna mascot, but that's kind of odd. People like him on the YouTube stuff, but I don't think any of the people who don't watch the show, I think they'd be like, "What on earth is that?"
yeah,
But yeah,
people are Timey Tim. Everybody's Timey Tim. Yeah,
yeah.
good mascot. It could be worse, that's for sure.
Yes, it could be worse.
It's funny. It's funny the things like when you're streaming a lot, making videos a lot, and on social media a lot, people, they can find all sorts of things to rip, and it's all fun. But yeah, Timey Tim, that's pretty great. Cool. So you got the Giants coming up. Something else I like about this, I'm curious about your thought, but it's almost okay. So I have this theory that in comics there are different archetypes of people that you'd want to promote to. And so I'm refining this a little bit more. I'd like more research to back this up. But you have a reader that just cares about reading it. You've got the collector that's interested in probably reading as well, but they want to collect it and have it and keep it and love it. And then maybe you have the investor or the speculator, and these are all different kinds of people that buy comics. And so when I've been thinking about comics, like really they should have something for all these different kinds of archetypes. And maybe I'm missing some. There could be others as well. But what I love about these Giants is because to me it screams reader. Like this is for somebody where you get the whole thing. It's really satisfying for a really good price, so you can read a lot of it. I think that's a really, really good idea because you've got it basically packaged up in different routes. Whereas,
absolutely,
maybe a collector would be really interested in having each individual issue with all the different covers. I don't know, for Mighty Mascots, how many separate issues are you talking about?
That's 3 issues.
3 issues, yeah. So yeah,
and the thing is, the newsprint really allows us to do that. I couldn't believe how many pages we could actually still fit in a newsprint book, and it would staple and it would be affordable, and it's way more than 80, to be honest. I'm trying to see exactly what we could do. I would ideally love to be able to reproduce every single miniseries we have as a Giant, but we'll see how these take off. I know the next ones that are planned. Let's see, we've got December is Blood Realm Volume 1, which is the first 3 issues of that. Then January is Blood Realm Volume 2, which coincides with the release of the new Blood Realm Volume 3 series. So someone who's missed out on all the Blood Realms, because they tend to sell out pretty quick, if they just want to get the beautiful Giant edition, you can read the whole story, spend like $10, not have to hunt down all the single issues necessarily. And you could do that. You can come back to it, because that's the thing that's great. It almost adds like that collector search mentality later on of like, oh, I read this Giant, I really love it, I want to see if I can get the single issues. And you could always do that later on. And then we've got, let's see, the Trespasser 4-issue miniseries. That's going to become a Giant soon, because the graphic novel is completely sold out. So instead of going back to print on a really expensive graphic novel, we're going to print out the Giant. We've got all kinds of Alterna Giants coming out the whole year. Every single month, we're going to have a release of an Alterna Giant, along with the $1.50 comics and the 99-cent ICYMI and the $1.99. It came out on Wednesdays. And something that I think people in the chat might be excited about, if you guys didn't catch it already, in January, we're also going to have the $1 one-shot debut of Legends of Log. So there you go. That nice. It's going to be every 6 months, a Legends of Log one-shot, and that is a $1 one-shot. So yeah, that's something that's going to be fun for people. I know they love Log, and it's been something that took off from the pages of it. Came out on a Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to getting all these things out there. Next year is going to be great for more than one reason. A couple of which I can't disclose just yet because we like to keep some surprises. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to 2020. It's going to be a great year for Alterna.
Very cool. I'm curious with newsstands. So I know you've mentioned before when you're selling comics through the newsstands, they like ongoing series, and so the way that you kind of get all of your stuff through it, I guess, or a big portion of it, is the in case you missed it series, correct?
Yeah.
Would Alternate Giants count as a series? Like, would you ever send that through a newsstand, or is that not even some,
Yeah, I've given that some thought. It's really tough to say because that is a bit of a gamble, because newsstand where there's 100% returnability, if the Giants were to fall flat on their face, let's say they ordered like 2,000 of them, and usually there's like a 35 to 40% sell-through rate at newsstand, so that's a lot of loss to take, to just literally lose 1,500 or so of them. It just doesn't necessarily really make it worth it for newsstand at this point in time. It's always a possibility for the future, though. It's always a possibility. But right now, the ICYMI line and the It Came Out on a Wednesday line, the two technical ongoings that we have, are starting to gain some traction in newsstand. And newsstand, it usually takes a solid 2 years to gain any kind of traction, especially when you're a company like us, where we don't have a gigantic budget, we don't have big names involved, we don't have anything other than it's a good comic, it's a good looking comic, hopefully it catches the eye, and that's all. We got our fingers crossed, and that's it. But considering that, it's been breaking even for us, which is kind of insane on newsstands right now. It's usually just a straight up, the money's gone. You're just putting it out there to get people to see it, and you don't make any money on it. So for us to at least have it be kind of self-sustaining is good, because it does get books out there. It gets us in front of more people. Every single month, I get close to 12 to 24 new readers that come on board and say, I saw this at a newsstand. I saw this at Sheets, which we just got a deal for. And say, I didn't know they made new comics. I haven't seen them around. I don't have a local comic shop anymore. And then lo and behold, they also see this ad in the back of the issue. We've had 3 people so far from Sheets, and that deal just happened end of June. They saw this ad in the back of ICYMI, and they went to the comic shop locator, and they found a comic shop near them, and now they're going to the local comic shop. So if an Alterna book can do this, imagine what the big publisher books could do with this kind of an ad and putting it out there. You get millions, perhaps millions of people going to their local comic shops again. It's something I'd love to see. I know it's a dream at this point, and it's one that's probably not going to come true, but we're doing our part as much as we can.
Yeah, I think that's important. Something I've been realizing just from having a YouTube channel, it's been a really good learning experience. But okay, so I just passed 4,000 subscribers today, which is great, and it's not really that many people. But making daily videos and just having your little plug for your book, I did that little experiment where I was just live streaming for about a month there, and I wanted to see what it did to my numbers and everything. And I found that it was terrible for me. Maybe others that are really good at live streaming, I'm not. But being able to plug your book every single time just for a little bit actually really helps sales, because people just have more exposure to it. And so, yeah, exactly. If publishers were all doing this, just putting a little plug for comic shops, and whether it's on the back of their comics like you do, or however else in their movies, for crying out loud, there's a lot that they could do that would just reach people, and you'd have that slow trickle. And if you were always doing that, you would actually be helping the industry get new readers, which I like. So yeah, Sci-fi for me says Sweetcast 4,000 isn't insignificant. Congrats. Yeah, man, that was hard. I'm pretty happy about it. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats on that. We're coming close to 5,000, and you know, it's something that you gotta just kind of keep at it. You know, some people are going to grow a lot faster than others in terms of this kind of thing. But man, 4,000 is great, especially because you have a pretty consistent audience. So that's always good. You know, there's people that have 5, 6, 7 times the audience you have in terms of subscribers, and they're just not really there. You know, so
yeah,
that's great that people support, because even, you know, I'll see the alternate stuff that goes up, and we'll get, you know, on average 300 to 400, 500 views, and I'm like, you know, we're not getting tens of thousand views or anything like that, but all of those people love Alterna, and they all are interested in what we're doing, and they all want to support. And I'd take 300, 400, 500 people like that over, you know, 20,000 kind of looky-loos any day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the key I'm finding too, is that like actually getting to know people. And we're kind of getting, it's a little, I don't know, it's a little off topic. It's okay though, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, just talking to individual people, and that's like I'll get a lot of people every week that ask me, "Hey, I want to start a YouTube channel, or I want to make a comic book. How do I get and build an audience?" And you just have to talk to a lot of people all the time. And so the great thing about YouTube is you get people commenting, and sometimes they say, your hat looks stupid, or, you know, you're wrong, or whatever it is. But then that gives you an opportunity to comment back.
Sometimes both in the same comment. Those
in the same,
yeah, your hat looks stupid and you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't like you.
Yeah.
But it's like, thanks for contributing to the algorithm.
Yeah, no, it really does help. It does.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the thing is, if you go in and you talk to them and say, "Hey, sorry you don't like my face, but you know, I appreciate you watching your videos, or tell me what you think," and before you know it, even if they disagree with you, they think, "You know what, that guy, he's okay. At least he listened to me," you know. So yeah, again, that's how it works. You just got to talk to people. And yeah, here's a comment right on there. Work in Progress said, "Sweetcast, your fidelity to your fans in this medium is inspiring." Thank you. And that's I'll tell you right here, Peter Cimetti, he's one of the people that that I look up to for that very reason, is how that you speak to fans, especially on Twitter. It's easy to get nasty on Twitter. I see it all the time. And you're not one that gets nasty. You're always kind to people and thanking people. And so, yeah, that's why I was saying the other day in a video, Alterna Comics is saving the world. I think that's how you do it.
Yeah, I saw that. That made me laugh. But thank you.
Yeah, Jan, no problem. You deserve it. Lots of yeah, again, a lot of good campaigns. Let's see. I'm already sharing the screen. Here we go. Boom. Let's look over here. I'm gonna look at Downcast, if that's okay.
Yeah.
This was another one. So speaking of just talking to people every day, and again, I did that little experiment, and video views have been doing pretty well. I've been pretty happy with it, and it seems like lately it's 2 to 3 backers per day, even though I've been in demand forever, and it felt like I was just stuck for a while. So we're almost at 30K, which is just mind blowing to think about it. Really, really cool. I put up some new art here too, because I figured we've got a bunch of new art. Why not show it off? We only have 50 left of these print bundles, by the way. And yeah, that's an old page. Here's some of the new pages. And this is one that I really like because it's the mood, especially with the story. I like it a lot. Here's another one. We're doing a lot of, which I'm realizing is hard. As a writer, you can just write like, "Hey, have them play with the gravity so that people are falling out of their chair." You know, you're describing things with gravity, but then how you show that with just pictures, I realize is a challenge. And so this is just one little bit that kind of gets you going. But yeah, we've seen some really cool stuff. Actually, I'll show you this last page here. With gravity, we've got this police officer that finds himself floating like 10 feet off the ground. So yeah, really cool stuff from from Ignacio Lazaro. Just
And
wanted
Eric is going to be lettering that, right?
Yes, yep. Eric's lettering it. We don't have any of it. Let's see. Some of his handiwork, I think, just right here. I used to have all the first 5 lettered pages, and I thought I'll switch it up a little bit. But yeah, Eric is lettering it, and then the colorist is Damian Penalba. And yeah, I'm really happy with this creative team. There's a lot of great. I want to show everything off, but at the same time, I just can't because I want everyone to enjoy like when they read it for the first time. Yeah, just to see the stuff. Yeah, Sci-Fi for Me says great colors. Yeah, I'm really happy with the colors. Something that Damien's really good at is lighting, and we'll get to. He does this thing like right here. This is a good example. Whenever there's like an open window, like at nighttime with night lighting, it always just looks amazing how he does it. It seems like a simple thing. I've played around with coloring quite a bit actually, and yeah, it's just picking the right colors, having the right kind of palette. Yeah, it's important. And there's a friend here too, Christian Rossi.
Hey, Christian, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah, he says Nacho is so good. Great future for him in the comics world. Yeah, so it's such a small world. Argentina has some of the best artists. I love your guys' art. So Christian and my artist Nacho, Ignacio, he goes by Nacho, and then Damien, they all know each other and they have had the same art teacher, I guess. It's just mad how small the world is in comics, but yeah, lots of good stuff.
Yeah, what I love about it too, and the same thing goes for Christian's art as well. You can take a look at the pages and see how much room they leave for lettering.
Yeah,
and it just flows, so it's a nice easy read. A lot of the time everybody kind of wants, a lot of in your face kind of everything all the time, a lot of stagnant poses, everybody's always kind of staring straight on, that kind of a thing. There's no movement to the page, and there's no room for the lettering too in some cases, so everything feels cramped. I love the fact that these guys know how to space out the page like that. It's great.
yeah. It's the way I see it is it's putting the story first, which is whenever I'm looking at artists and stuff, that's always something important to me, is putting the story first. And that goes with writers too, because it's tempting. It can be tempting to put like prose first, and you want to just type up a whole novel there in one panel. But yeah, just letting the art tell the story, and the right kinds of words, and the letterer have room, all this kind of stuff, over just making an art book or just writing a novel. That's what makes comics so great, is the marriage of all these things together.
Yeah. Show don't tell. Like that image there that you have with the fish tank.
Yeah.
In the Silver Age, it would be on the top left. You'd say he stares pensively at the piranhas, and then it's like, yeah, we see that. So instead, you let the art speak. And you can just kind of have the juxtaposition of the either his thoughts or what they're talking about, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
No need to over explain the art, kind of like how I'm over explaining right now about over explaining.
This is a workshop in writing. It's good stuff. When I'm curious, you've written The Chair, and that I think is probably,
so they tell me.
That's what they say. I think that's probably what you're best known for, as far as have you published anything else that's...
Yeah, there's like short stories here and there. I immediately followed up The Chair, which is probably one of the most intense and brutal comics ever made in the past decade or whatever. I could say that less clumsily, but I'd rather not. And I followed that up with a children's book about hockey. Naturally, that's what you would do.
You got to fill out the boundaries,
Yeah. And I've been, and it's drawn like, remember like on Reading Rainbow, old school kind of children's books, it would kind of look like a kid could draw the art. It would have that kind of charm about it. It'd be kind of loose, and the colors would go outside the lines a little bit. It's kind of drawn like that. And it sold well. It sold out. It had some book distribution, and we sold close to 1,000 copies. But it I didn't go back to print with it. I've been toying around with maybe going back to print in the next year or so with it, and do a newsprint version. Maybe do it for $1.
Yeah. You want to do a giant or something with the chair too?
Possibly. Yeah. Maybe 2 years from now. I'd say I'll probably be out of the fourth edition that we just printed up, and by that time, I think it'd be good to do a giant chair version.
Yeah. Cool. I just posted the link to Downcast. I always say like everyone that's watching is already back, but I'm finding that's not true because you keep putting it out there and people see it. So yeah, check it out. Check out Downcast. Let's look back at Alterna Ween while I'm at it. I'm always nervous about refreshing this, but you just got to do it. So 2551. Hey, there's one more backer.
Yeah,
72 backers.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
Very, very cool. Yeah. I don't. How many crowdfunders do you do per year? Do you have a plan for this? Yeah.
Or Alterna. Me personally, I'm doing like maybe 2 a year. It's going to change big time next year, though. Next year, Alterna, we're going to be doing a crowdfunder every month. And what I mean by that is, you know how right now we've got the previews catalog, there's pre-ordering involved, and 2 months later the books come out and all that jazz, right? So in January, we're going to pretty much have the same things that are being offered in the previews catalog during January. We're going to have an Indiegogo for that. And let's say with Blood Realm Volume 3, number 1, coming out in January. And for January previews, it's going to be something different. I think Blood Realm Volume 3, number 2 is in January previews. But on the Indiegogos, what we'll have is if a series is being solicited as a pre-order and it's on issue 2 or 3, let's say, we'll have a tier where you can get the other issues as well. So you can get number 1 and number 2 with your pre-order of number 3. And there's going to be next to no waiting involved because you're going to get these when they come out. Everything's going to be a 2-month time span. So it's going to act essentially 100% as a pre-order type campaign. Really low goal, just like $500. It's just to get people who want to support Indiegogo, get something a little exclusive with it. Like maybe we'll have a trading card or a poster every single month, something different, a pin, something you can only get on the Indiegogo if you pre-order through there. It's stuff that essentially I asked 2 years ago, actually more than that at this point, I think 4 or 5, to our brand manager at Diamond at the time. Can we incentivize our pre-orders? Can we give stuff with people to people that are ordering a certain amount, like the stores, if they order 4 or 5 or 10 or whatever it is? Can we do things like that? Can we give a trading card? Can we give a poster? They said, yeah, you could do it. It's just going to cost hundreds of dollars. And it's like at that point you go, well, we're not going to make anything on this book if we're giving free stuff away on top of also losing hundreds of dollars to give the free stuff away. So it didn't make any sense. So everything that I kind of would love to see Diamond incorporate, even things like, when they have an issue out and it's like issue 3, have a listing along with that issue 3 for issues 1 and 2. So the store can also order, because a lot of the time you get stores that go, man, I didn't know about this thing. I just heard about it now. Now it's on issue 3 or 4. I didn't know to stock up 1 and 2 at the time, but now the book is popular. What do? I can't get a hold of the audience there, the readership that wants to read issue 1 and 2. I'm going to lose those readers. I won't just order this issue now. So then they don't order the newest issue. They don't order the other ones. And you just have this slow descent into nothingness. And that's how orders go at Diamond. So instead of doing that, I'd love to see them do something where they offer the ability to easily reorder those issues that they're missing out on that pertain to that series. And this is kind of what we're going to be doing. Instead of waiting around for Diamond to do something, we're just going to do this. We're going to have this Indiegogo stuff every single month. Again, it's a small campaign. If they blow up, they blow up. We'll see. I'm not expecting it. Just a goal. I know we could hit the $500 goal every single month. And it's just something that incentivizes readers. It also, there's a lot of people that don't have a local comic shop and they want to order instead through Indiegogo. It's something else to just put it out there and get people involved. And it's not the traditional crowdfunder where you're funding the 100% creation of a book. This is stuff that's it's literally, you're crowdfunding it, but you're mostly pre-ordering it and you're getting something exclusive with it in the process. So just something that's just fun every single month to do, make a fun event out of it all the time, and couple it with the fact that, you know, there's some people that are really, really, really trying to get our books through distribution, and they just can't for one reason or another. So I'm tired of just kind of pounding sand about it and being upset. And instead I'm going to just go forward with this.
Nice. Well, and it's also, again, like I have my theory about the archetypes of comic customers, and it's really fun for collectors. And I'm finding this, the more campaigns that I back, it's kind of addicting because it is fun to see. Like was looking at your pins here, and like some of your new ones. Let me get to them. There we go. Even just the Alternaween pen here, that's cool. I
Yeah,
want
it's just fun
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun. And so I don't know, it really is fun to get these extras and things, the t-shirts, and of course the comics. This is really, I think, the best way to get comics that you know what you're getting, you know what age group you're getting, you know you're getting good comics for a good price, and you can hand them out to trick-or-treaters, and hopefully that's a good investment in the next generation of comic readers and comic creators. So yeah, really, really like this. So that new schedule with crowdfunding every month, is that starting? Do you know when that's going to start? Is it 2020
Yeah,
immediately?
2020 in January.
Nice.
Yeah. And again, low goal, $500 is fine. And I'm 100% sure we'll hit that, if not get higher than that. But it's just all about finding another way to start building up an avenue to get comics out there, because as we're seeing every day, it's traditional venues, traditional ways to do this, it's shrinking, and it's not necessarily getting any better, because the system itself isn't going to change. So instead of wondering, why won't the system just change? Why won't the bigger publishers wake up? Why won't Diamond do this? Why won't Diamond do that? I've been asking myself that now. For this is 2020 will be the 14th year of Alterna. So for 12 years, because the first 2 years I was like, that's just the way it is. It'll get better. I wasn't upset. You just kind of accept it,
Yeah.
and think, well, we're just really new. And then you start to go, oh boy, this isn't really that good, is it? So for 12 years, I've been just kind of upset about it, and just wondering, well, what could we do? What can we do? It's just the situation. I'm tired of that. I'm not doing that anymore. And that's kind of what the newsprint stuff was about. It was about taking charge of. I'm tired of just wondering, well, why don't they just make comics affordable again? It's possible. And it's just like, why do we have to wait till someone else does it? Let's just do it. And obviously people love it. We do conventions every single year. We just did Terrificon, and it's a New England show. It's in Connecticut. And man, oh man, the people that come up, they're great. They're so wonderful. I mean, the amount of support, the kindness, and the fact too that we'll get people who come up, right? And then they'll buy like a couple issues like on Friday. And then by Sunday, they've bought like 30 issues, because they keep coming back, and they're like, I read these at the hotel, or I read these, throughout. And I took a look, and I'm like, these are great. And then they go, well, now that I know these are great, I'm just going to get every single one that looks good to me, because they're affordable. You can buy 20 issues and spend $30.
Yeah.
That's, people can't, so many, I can't tell you the biggest question we get at a show. Is that really the price? Yeah. Because these are vintage comics, right? They're more than that. I'm like, no. They look like they would be vintage comics. They're on the newsprint and everything, and the pricing is that way. You'd think that they're from like the 80s and 90s, but they're new. And it's like it slowly settles in, and you can kind of see on the face of the person, they go, what's going on? Why are comics the way it is right now when you can have these comics and they're $1.50? It's really funny. I did a panel with Billy Tucci about crowdfunding comics, and it turned into talking about the industry and things like that. As I'm talking about newsprint and everything that we've been doing, the lower prices, getting comics out there, all this kind of stuff. There's someone in the audience that I'm seeing, and she's kind of like snickering the whole time. And I'm like, oh, she probably doubts what I'm doing or whatever. So that's fine. I'm so used to that at this point. It's just whatever. But what it was, she came back afterwards to the table, and she goes, you might have saw me laughing the whole time. I didn't mean to be rude. And I was like, no, it's okay. And she explains, and she goes, it's really funny because I was at a panel earlier today, she says, a DC panel. And everything you said about newsprint that you guys are doing, they said can't be done. And she's like, so every single thing you were talking about with newsprint and lower prices and getting comics into newsstand and all that kind of stuff, they were talking about how that's not really a possible thing to do. You can't do any of that. And meanwhile, you're up there 2 hours later at another panel talking about everything you're doing. And I just heard from these guys saying that basically what you're doing is impossible. And she's like, I kind of just thought that was funny the whole time. So we had a good laugh about that because I thought she was kind of just being just kind of being like, yeah, sure, he's doing that. And then it was funny to hear that. So newsprint, we talked to so many pros that weekend about, they couldn't believe it. We had so many people coming up to the table just to open them up and see for themselves, smell the comic, and that in itself was funny.
That is definitely a selling point of just having newsprint comics, because so many people just love them and have fond memories, and it's just this, I don't know, it's just this cool little piece of comics history, I guess, component to it. So yeah, I imagine that's a big selling point too, just that people want a newsprint comic and they're not around, you're not getting them anywhere else that I know of anyway.
Yeah. And that's what I love too about the printing partnership program. I see Paula Ritchie in the chat. Hey, Paula. Paula uses the printing partnership program. She did her Soulbound comic on that.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievably affordable for people. And all they have to do is just piggyback onto our print runs and get books printed. The minimum is 500, 50 cents a piece. It's a $50 pre-press, no matter what size of the book. And then you pay for shipping. So all in all, I think like a 500 minimum run is going to cost you something like, with shipping, less than $400, like $370, $380. To get 500 print on demand comics with like premium paper stock or whatever, however they want to word that, you're looking at easily like $1,000 to $1,200. So, and that's on the lower end of it. Most of the time it's going to be like $2.50, $3 a piece.
I was wondering if Paula went through your printing program. So Paula, I don't know if you saw any of this live stream. I had Paula on. She sent me her book, Soulbound, and I was looking through it. My wife read it, and we were like, "Oh, this is newsprint." I wonder. So yeah, it is cool that she did actually get that through the printing partnership program, and it looks great. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I just bought. I bought a few of your graphic novels and some more of the single issues, and it is cool just to see the print quality in person for both graphic novels and for the newsprint. It looks great. There's something about newsprint that I like the feel of it, and I hadn't thought of this before, but it kind of flops differently. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
The feel in your hand is nice. You don't feel like you're gonna like bend it,
Yeah. What's really weird is I've dropped comics, like when I'm doing orders sometime, and I'm like, oh no, I dropped the comic, and I'll pick it up and nothing happened to it.
Yeah.
It just kind of like folds a bit and just falls. And it's just because they don't weigh a lot. The paper itself is more malleable. But yeah, the whole thing with newsprint, it's all that tactile stuff, and the smell, the touch, the feel of newsprint, the comics of our lives, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't replicate it. It's wonderful. Even the way that the colors, they're a little bit warmer. That the paper just kind of adds its own tinge of a color there. Oh, let me pop that up. So this is from Actual Roger, number 3. Let me see. Yeah. So that the newsprint just kind of softens and warms things up a bit. It doesn't have like that cold garishness that the matte, the glossy, that kind of stuff can have sometime.
Yeah.
Like we see the facsimile. reprints from Marvel and DC. And hey, you know, Marvel and DC, if you guys are watching, you need a newsprint printer, I can give you a recommendation. You can make an actual facsimile reprint. The thing is it's they're doing, yeah, it's kind of cool what they're doing, but why not on newsprint? I don't understand. And especially what a perfect way to say, you know, for them that, well, see, we're right. The newsprint doesn't necessarily lower the cover cost. So we're still going to sell these for $3.99. You know, at least now you still get that kind of like, whoa, newsprint. So they couldn't even think to do that, which is, it is crazy.
So it kind of gets me thinking about it with your printing partnership program.
Yeah, if they want to hop on board, that'd be funny.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where I don't know. I've been thinking a lot. Like I'm planning on doing a convention around here. Salt Lake FanX is what they're calling it now. I'm going to do one, and it'll probably be in the spring. And I think that might be a good route to go, is even have like something special for a con that's just in newsprint.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's inexpensive enough to print a whole bunch of it, and you could even, if you wanted to, consider it a marketing expense or something, just get it out there, whatever it is, you know. But yeah, that really is, it takes the edge off, because printing can get really expensive, depending on, well, even just the size of your print runs often. So that it really is a good, it's a good route for comic creators, indie comic creators. Let's see, I'm going to read let's see, I thought it said at Sweetcast, never mind. Oh, there we go. I did a review of Alterna's Exilium on my stream last Tuesday. Great story, and the art looks great on newsprint. Yeah, I've not read that one, but it does look good. Yeah.
I like Paula's comment there. That's funny.
This one. Peter's printing partnership program makes publishing possible. You could do Publishing Pete's printing partnership program. Just to stuff in one more P. It's awesome. And you've been getting some more backers. Actually, now you're at 74.
Oh, no way.
I'm going to refresh it again here. I've just every once in a while been refreshing it, but 74 backers. And guys, I'm just going to look at these real quick. Some of these are really inexpensive to get into. I mean, the calendars, if you just want to get this trick or treater bundle, $10, and you said free shipping, right?
Yep.
$10 free shipping.
That's the thing that's great too, and I know you already know this, but with Indiegogo, how you can go in there and you can do an add-on perk, or you can even just do a whole other pledge. With us, we put the shipping, it's inside of it, so it's already built into the perk price. So you can get the hat, you can get the trick or treater bundle. If you're in the US, you don't have to worry about, you're not paying, you know, double, triple, quadruple shipping. And if you're an international buyer, you can do the add-on perks. So we already have the shipping kind of discounted in there for you.
Nice. Yeah, so if you haven't backed it yet, we won't get mad if you leave the stream. I post the link in there. Like, go check it out. We'll wait for you.
Thank you guys so much,
come back in for sure. But yeah, this is such nice, good prices. This is kind of refreshing, because so I've been using all of my YouTube ad revenue to just buy comics, and all of them exclusively, almost, have been through Indiegogo. So I'm waiting for a lot of them to get here. You know, it'll take some time for a bunch of them, but this is one where, like I said, I've already backed your last campaign. I already got the books months ago, and we've already enjoyed them and loved them, and given some out to some of my nieces and nephews as well. And so, yeah, this is one, like, man, I need to scratch that comic itch, and yeah, you'll get them. It's also nice at the price, because a lot of those crowdfunding campaigns can be really expensive. The nice thing is you already have the books printed, right? I mean, like, the
books are already, they're ready and raring to go. The only one that needs to get printed is the calendar, and that's gonna get on the next printing wave. So that's gonna go to the printer in like 2 weeks. So we'll have those absolutely with enough time to get out to you for Halloween. But but yeah, so with this, the books, if anything, are very inexpensive, and it's the merchandise. If you want a shirt or a hat or anything like that, and those, it's not expensive. It's just
No.
those are the higher priced items. But yeah, it's just I love being able to offer value to the readers, especially the Alterna readers are always so great. They're so supportive. You guys spread the word like crazy. You always do right by us, and the kindness and support that you guys give is just phenomenal. So something like this, I like making events out of crowdfunding, as opposed to just doing like, hey, here's my book, fund it. And that's fine too, and understandable, 100% understandable. But if you're a company, I view it as like imagine if every single Alterna book we did, it was kind of like Alterna Comics doing a crowdfunder every single time. That's kind of odd. It's kind of like, well, why do you have a publishing company? That seems like a really weird strategy. So instead, we kind of just make an event out of it. We make something fun, and we do crowdfunding that gets everybody together. You get a chance to get some fun Alterna merchandise first, and then you can support and get a bunch of books at a really great price. And if you want specific issues, you can always go to alternaaccess.com.
Very cool. Yeah, and I just went through their alternaaccess.com and did a little bit of shopping. I got the t-shirt, got some books and everything, and it's nice because my comic shop technically carries Alterna. I mean, they say they carry Alterna, but I think I was explaining to you before. I pre-ordered a book and they put it on, I think they called it special order, which is code word for you might not ever see it. Something like that. Or was it special order? They had a word for it.
Like back order? Is that what they called it? It was on back order.
I don't think it was back order. It was I do not remember. I'll have to go back and look at the live stream. I remember exactly when we talked about it, but yeah, it was red koi. That looks interesting to me. I want to get it. So I'm going to wait and give my comic book shop a chance, but
they hopefully should be able to, where that's a pre-order.
Yeah.
If they can't get that for you, then something weird is going on. Because if they can't get like an issue that's been out for a year, absolutely, I understand that. Sometimes, honestly, if they can't even get an issue for you that's a month old, I understand that because they sell out pretty quick at Diamond. And I just was talking to Ryan Wynn earlier today about that. That we'll see hundreds. I'll see hundreds upon hundreds of back orders piling up that we'll never get the purchase order for. And if we don't get the purchase order, we can't ship that to Diamond. We're not allowed. They'll get thrown out and we'll get a fine. They're friendly like that. So we'll lose hundreds upon hundreds of reorders every single month. And the thing is, we don't technically end up really losing it because readers will get the book somewhere, somehow, whether it's directly from us or eBay or online through another comic shop. But the comic shops lose those sales, and that really upsets me because I want the comic shops to get the sales. I've said this before. I love selling direct, but I really wish I didn't have to. I don't want to sell direct, and the more and more that we sell direct, the more it shows me, man, oh man, the comic shops aren't getting these books in. And it's not because they're necessarily choosing to not get the books in. It's because they're having a hard time getting them in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a thing. Like this is a discussion that comes up a lot in that, like, supporting your local comic shop. That's great. At the same time, there's some problems in the industry with sales. And so, I mean, getting however you can get comics to customers. I want people to be going to comic shops for sure, but just, with my own experience, it's sometimes hard. You're only really offered the same small number of books from the same couple publishers. And so that can be kind of frustrating, at least in my neck of the woods. And so, keeping comics alive, that to me is priority number one. I love the medium and I want to keep it going. The only way to do that is to keep getting comics into people's hands. So, I think it's just a natural thing that you got to do. Let's see. Here's a comment from Logical Gamer. He says, I was telling Peter something similar. Technically, some of the comic shops in New Hampshire should have the Alterna comics. Some just didn't have Alterna. I tried out the Nashua store. They had a nice selection.
Yeah, yeah. They'll either get a handful of the titles and sell out quickly, or they'll kind of stop ordering books in because they're having such a difficult time with distribution. And then there's so many books to choose from. There's so many books that come out every single month. I can't even imagine the headache, when it's time to do the ordering, especially when it comes to the comic section. So at this point, again, like I said, it's frustrating, but 2020 is the year. I'm tired of being frustrated with stuff. We're just going to do whatever it is we got to do. And at this point too, I'm really encouraging shops all the time to order direct from us. Order direct. You want to get stuff in, you want to get a bigger discount on there, order direct. And if Diamond wants to, kind of talk about what needs to get done in the industry to fix it before it's too late, and really talk to the publishers, the retailers, even getting some input and feedback from the readers. All these kind of cogs in the industry are all kind of working together, but yet we're all so far apart, that there's no reason for that. There's no reason to keep everyone at arm's length and go, hey, don't tell us how to do our job, that kind of mess. It's good to get that feedback. And if you can do something about it, that's great. Sometimes you're not in the position, like we'll get feedback sometime where I go, that's really interesting. I wish we could do that, but we're not there yet. Or maybe legally we can't do something like that, or monetarily we can't do something like that, but I want to do that one day. It's always good to get that kind of feedback. So if there was more communication involved with these different facets in the industry, I don't think we would have come to this point. But instead, it's everyone kind of, protecting their own interests, or at least they think they're protecting their own interests. But they're really not. It's not at the benefit of the larger whole, which is the comic industry, the readers, people who make the comics. It's just, it's frustrating. But again, like I said, 2020 is the year where we're frustrated with certain things, and now we're doing something about it. And I'm done waiting. It's just, this is the way forward, and that's all I want to do. I don't want to keep on going, well, I wish they would do this, I wish they would do that. No, we're going to start doing it. That's it.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like you just can't wait on
Yeah.
the hero to step up, or somebody that, Diamond, or whomever.
Yeah, we're all screaming, someone save me, save
Yeah.
yourself. That's what we have to do now. Save ourselves.
Exactly. Ghost in a Shell says, my local comic shop is terrible. 80% of the store is now statues, Funko, and figures. They also have a very below average comics selection. I have personally been noticing this around and I get it. Like, local comic shops are just trying to make money.
Yep.
So if those kinds of things sell, I understand. I'm sure it's a tough business to be in, but it does make it really difficult for comics. What I'd much rather have is just people having that sweet comic addiction. You read a couple good comics, and that's all it takes to kind of trigger that. You want to keep reading and support it, and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Here's another one. Comic stores are an archaic way to get books. When I go to a local comic shop, there's too many books. I don't know what to buy. They have issue 3, not the first few issues. I might as well get it online.
Yeah. This that kind of, circles right back to what I was saying earlier. It's so frustrating for retailers to get these books in there. They see an issue 3 or a 4, and all of a sudden they get wind of, oh boy, people really like this. And then it's too late. You can't go back and get issue 1 and 2. And a lot of retailers, they either won't get those subsequent issues that follow. Let's say they kind of missed, because it's all basically shaking the magic 8-ball to some extent and saying, do I order a lot of this one? And then look and see what it says. Oh, I guess not this month, and you go to the next one. So it's frustrating with that. But then what's also frustrating is if you're a retailer right now, you really have to see the writing on the wall. You have to look at that and go, I love Marvel and DC, but their heart is in merch and is in different forms of entertainment. It's not necessarily so much in comics. So what we have to do, still get Marvel and DC, absolutely. Absolutely still get Marvel and DC, but start organizing your stores by genre. So this way, for new readers, when they walk in, they don't, because a lot of stores, they organize by publisher, or they organize alphabetically with titles. It doesn't mean anything to a new reader. They walk in there and it's all Roman and Greek to them. So if you organize by a genre and you get horror books in there, you get sci-fi books in there. If you're someone who gravitates to those kind of genres, you go to those things and you go, oh, now I know what I like. I know these books have to do with this kind of thing. And let's see what looks interesting. It's the same kind of thing as when you sort by genre for Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or whatever. We become a sort by genre society. We're used to doing that. And then you look and you see what looks interesting, and that's what you go with. But when you go in there blind, especially if you're 100% new to comics, even to the level of you don't even know Marvel and DC, you're just in there because, you were getting some toys or whatever. Alterna, Marvel, DC, Image, whatever, those names don't mean anything to you. It's just, does this book look interesting? Does this book look good? And is it affordable? Can I take a chance on this? But the thing is, if you organize that store by genre, you cut out so much of the guesswork for customers.
Yeah. Well, so that's another thing is you get, okay, a common problem for me is I go, like, I want to buy a comic, not so much lately, but this used to be the case for me about a year ago and earlier. I want a comic to read, but it's hard to know what. And so if I go to a comic shop, it's random. I remember this was actually not that long ago. My local comic shop was having a big sale on graphic novels, and they were like 40%, 60% off in some cases. And I was thinking, oh, awesome. So I went through, they just had all these books, and all of them were just trash that I didn't want to read. And they also they were just random. So it'd be like a graphic novel, the volume 3, and they had 15 of them. And so, yeah, it's frustrating to just be able to get the stuff that you want to read. That's another thing, again, with Alterna that I like, is that you do so many miniseries that getting the whole miniseries is really doable. It's easy. There's a nice starting point. And, I think like longer series are fine too. They're great, but there's definitely a benefit to be able to just get that 4-issue miniseries, 3 to 6 issue miniseries. I think it's really a really nice place to be.
Yeah. We treat it kind of like seasons of TV shows, where it's like the next volume is like the next season, or like a sequel to a film. As opposed to, like when you watch a TV show, it's you can watch a show that's been on for like 20 seasons and just kind of binge watch through, and they feel like they all blend into each other. Mm-hmm. But there's always very specific season finales, the season debut, that kind of stuff. There's always those episodes that feel that way and have that emotional kind of tie where there's something, a cliffhanger or the intro of something or whatever. So that's how we kind of treat the series at Alterna, as opposed to just one nonstop, issue 1 through whatever it's going to be. And then also it leaves a nice jumping off point too for creators when they just feel, I told the story I want to tell. Like a lot of people ask me, hey, are you going to do a prequel or a sequel to The Chair? And I'm not. And the reason is because I told the story I wanted to tell. I think if you tell any more, or to me, any less of it, it detracts from what I wanted to say. And it also kind of ruins the mystery, the mystique, the mood of the original work. I think we see that all the time, sequels and prequels. I mean, imagine watching a Star Wars from episode 1, Phantom Menace. Well, by the time you get to Empire Strikes Back, you're like, yeah, you're his dad. Who cares? I've known that for like 3 episodes now.
Right. Yeah. None of it matters anymore.
Yeah, it's like, why is that such a big reveal? I mean, dude, you didn't know that, Luke? Like, you have like the same last name, and like everyone's telling you. It's just one of those things where you feel, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So you ruin that impact.
Yeah. Yeah. So it reminds me, I saw today, I don't know if this was a real article or not. I just saw a headline, but that Disney was going to be remaking the Alien franchise. I really hope it was an Onion article. That's just all I saw. But I was thinking it wouldn't.
It's bound to happen, you know.
Yeah, it's got to happen, but
Yeah.
it's not the same. I remember watching a making of how Alien was made, and it's interesting because the first time you see something, it just has a different impact. When it's been done before, it's just not the same. Let's see. Here's from GPez says, my LCS has 40% off trade paperbacks on holidays, but even then, I'm buying the trade paperbacks at the same price. I can buy it online through Amazon every day of the week. That is a great point. Yeah, that's something that can't be overlooked, because whether you're buying it direct from a publisher or not, there's still, in essence, kind of direct sales through Amazon. You're getting it shipped to your door, which I'll admit is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to order books, and I'm thinking more of ordering Alterna, ordering the books, and then they show up a few days later, and you're like,
Yeah, we have a ton of people that do the subscription option. It's just a nice, quick and easy. Boom, you get the whole subscription for the year, and you just kind of kick back and you get your Alterna shipment every month, and then that's it. And then every now and then, if you want to support and do something extra, like get a hat or a shirt or a poster or whatever, you could do that. But as far as the books go, it's just so easy, and we make that like that for retailers too. Retailers that order direct from us can get the yearly option, and they get 5 copies of issue 1s and then 3 copies of every other issue. So it's nice and easy for them. They don't have to think about it.
Yeah. Here's a question. I'm going to pick this out. It's for me. Ghost in a Shell asks, question about Downcast. Is Downcast inspired by the video game Gravity Rush? The game has a female protagonist with gravity powers and floating cities. So I did not know Gravity Rush existed when I made the book. However, when I started looking for titles and things, this was back in November, and I was doing some Googling, I did find Gravity Rush and discovered that it existed. So I don't know what the story for Gravity Rush is. I think the odds of it having a similar storyline are pretty it's probably not. It's probably very different other than those two things, but I don't know. I'd have to play the game. But yeah, that is a good question. And then here we go. Sci-fi for me says Ridley Scott hopes Disney will continue the Alien franchise according to reports. So it's a hope.
Well, the Alien Queen is constantly popping out Disney princesses, so it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, definitely. So we're looking at Downcast. I just got picked up one more backer. Thank you very much. We're slowly and steadily getting there. I'm going to refresh it one more time, though I just barely kind of refreshed it. Yep, 862 backers. And then I know on Alternaween, I'm going to refresh it one more time. I think you came in with 70. It was either 70 or 71 backers. Now you're at 75. So
nice. Thank you, guys.
Good. Awesome. You guys are the best. I think we're going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. If you have any questions especially for Peter or me as well, now is your chance. But Peter, for the people that have just kind of come in, can you give us a little pitch? I asked for a pitch, but it's not really one story, but can you give us a pitch for the campaign?
Yeah, so Alternaween, we did that last year, but if you missed on it, that's okay. We've got Alternaween 2, Newsprint's Revenge, up and running. That's basically a whole campaign designed around the fact that we're going to be giving our comics as trick-or-treats. And comics as trick-or-treats is a really cool and fun thing, too, because of the fact that last year, this was something I didn't expect, but halfway through, people were like, this might happen. And what I'm talking about is the fact that it's going to be someone's first comic book. And we had a lot of that happen last year. A lot of kids got their first comic ever. A lot of kids became comic book readers. We had retailers and even people that were giving the comics out, that now they're seeing kids reading comics and that they didn't see them reading comics before. There were people that they had kids. It was funny that this one woman, she lives near a bus stop, and the kid went the next day and knocked on the door and asked if she had more comics.
So cool. So
now she's the comic book lady, and I'm sure she'll be getting hit up again this year for Alternaween. But it's a fun campaign. It's all about getting comics out there, using them for something good. And you don't just need to use them as trick-or-treats either. You can donate them to a library, a children's hospital, a school, the troops, there's so many places that you can donate comics to that'll have a really nice impact and do something good for people. Um, the Alterna Ween campaign, it's fun. It's pure fun. And if you want, you can get Alterna merchandise as well. We've got hats, we've got beanies, we've got shirts, but the comic bundles especially. If you're someone who's new to Alterna, this is a really good way to just try us out at a really affordable price. I think the highest price bracket for the comics, it's like 200, and you can get it for 99 bucks. So you're going to get a bunch of doubles in there, but you can give those doubles away. You can donate them. So this is a really nice campaign. It's something that spread the joy of comics around and just kind of put a smile on a kid's face.
Nice. Love it. Yeah, and there's it looks like $100, $99 is the highest, though you do have this one of everything. I assume that includes the tote bag, t-shirts, that kind of stuff.
You get the hat, all that stuff. Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, so do check it out. Alterna, I'm going to refresh it one more time. It is kind of fun to do it, and then you just see the number go up. Oh, it didn't do this time, but do check it out. always great. I see Ghost and Shell says, thanks for answering my question. I'll have to back down cast on payday. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And thanks everyone. Peter, thanks so much. It's always really good to talk to you. And I'm excited to see how the campaign goes and just the future of Alterna. I think they've got a lot of growth and awesome things ahead of you. So
thank you, man. Good to be on here, and always a pleasure talking to you as well. And everybody in the chat, thank you guys for your support and for your kindness and for your questions tonight. Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody. Don't forget to back both campaigns. They're in the link in the description below, and we'll see you next time.